we are back, and this is first look at iOS 16. So we'll start on the lock screen, and obviously this being the main thing about iOS 16, the biggest change. To enter the sort of customization menu, you just hold, and then you can either customize the one that you're on, or you can create a new one. So what we'll do is we'll create a new one, and these are like all of the various sort of built-in options. You could choose from themes that have already been created, collections, color, all that kind of stuff. And what we can do is let's just use this, and then this is where it basically will allow. So this is where it's basically giving you the sort of widgets and everything. So let's see. Yeah, so all you have to do is let's clear all of these out, and let's choose our own. So let's come down, and I like to know what the weather's doing, so we'll choose the weather. Can we drag that across? No. So it seems to just want to drop wherever it drops. Next thing, batteries, the important thing that everybody wants to know. Now this one is kind of pointless because it doesn't actually give you percentage, I don't think. No, it doesn't. What I would have liked is similar to the batteries widget where it gives you your watch, your AirPods and everything like that. I would have preferred it to have had one of those. Maybe in one of the future betas they might actually release something like that where they actually update it and they add a little bit of extra functionality to it. But for now we'll just hit that one, and so it adds that. And then what else have we got on here? So calendar, home, what sort of things has home got? Indoor climate, climate sensors. So this is for HomeKit. It's mainly just going to be information. It's not going to be interactable, and that's pretty much it. So not many for now. We'll hit this one and we'll add that. Yeah, so it looks like you can have this many out. Now the thing that I was wondering was whether we could add another row. I would have liked to have been able to add another row. So what about the top one? What sort of customization has that got? So you have different types of widgets that you can actually choose from at the top. So you can actually have the weather there. So let's say conditions. Yeah, that one's kind of pointless. It doesn't really tell you much, does it? I think that's the sort of normal one that you get. And then you do also have the option of the fonts. Now, what I was hoping was, yeah, this is just your calendars, your different types of keyboard languages, sorry. So it doesn't, apart from these 6, it's not really giving you many other options. So that's kind of all you got for now. I'm hoping that somewhere down the line, obviously further down the line, they do actually add more fonts that you can actually use. And then of course you can also change the colors. So let's look for a blue, something like that. That looks kind of different. It's not what you're used to seeing when you talk about iOS, is it? So that is the lock screen. Now let's see if there is anything. No, so as soon as it switches on, that's it, it's there. Your notifications are now all popping up at the bottom as opposed to being at the top, and you can clear them from there, which I'm guessing it's not just a UI thing. I think that's something where they've actually looked at it and thought, we're making bigger and bigger phones, and it makes sense rather than having to use reachability mode every single time, that you actually just have the notifications at the bottom, which makes it a bit easier to reach and get to. Okay, so do I have anything installed on HomeKit on this one? Yeah, I don't think I've got this one set up, but straight away just looking at that does look different compared to the previous generation ones. It is meant to look slightly differently. If I do install it on my main daily, or if I set this one up with my HomeKit profile, then obviously we can take a look at to see what the difference is essentially with that. Safari pretty much looks the same. So if you are interested in installing this, what you want to go to is this website here, so betaprofiles.com. You then scroll down. What best thing to do is if you click on that, and then just at the top here you got your options. So you got iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS, and then block over the airs. I'm not seen that one before. Is this a way of downgrading? No, I think that's just a previous one for tvOS 15. But yeah, if you did want to install tvOS 16, then what you do is you click on this one, and as you can see, I mean, even clicking on this, it's nothing really happening. So that tells you that certain ones of these aren't going to be priority, and as a result, it might take a bit longer to actually install. If you do go to iOS and click on that, similar thing, it's not actually doing much at the moment. Obviously I've already used this. If we come to settings, general, and where is it, is it this one? Yeah, so here. So this way you can actually see your profiles. So this is the profile that I actually installed. Once you've installed this from that site, it'll ask you to restart, and when you then restart and you go to software update, it'll then give you the option for iOS 16. So yeah, what else have we got? So don't really want to be going into that. Maps, do I want to take a look at maps? Let me try this off screen first, just to see how. So it's giving you turn-by-turn directions, enable notifications, allow. You can look at my Apple TV for now. Yeah, and that is zoomed in. Satellite. Yeah, I mean, from what I can see, Maps looks identical to what I had on iOS 15, so I don't think there's much of a change in the Maps app for me. What else have we got? There was a lot about SharePlay and things like that. Do you guys actually use SharePlay? I know it's one of those things where when it was announced, I thought it was cool and everything. Can I show messages? Messages, it's not really going to come up because I'm not going to be logged into anything. So just hit new message. Yeah, it's not really going to show much. What's this new one? So that's just to send an audio message. Yeah, I'm not logged into this phone, so this has literally been sat around for quite a while. Can I check the new wallpapers? Good question. Where are we? Wallpapers. So yeah, the wallpapers is basically the same as your lock screen. So you have this whole new UI now. So you have obviously, as we had focus modes previously, and what you can do, in fact, let's try weather one. So we'll hit done on that. Excuse me. Yeah, that's probably sums up quite well for Derby, cloudy. Yeah. When it comes to your backgrounds, it's basically the same thing as your lock screens. So it's basically interactive with whatever background you choose and certain ones. So if you notice just there, I'll try and do it and keep the phone here. As I unlock, it kind of zooms past the weather slightly, and it kind of zooms in and out. And as it was shown on the keynote, some of them, when you actually do the unlock animation, then like with the world globe one, it'll zoom into a certain part of it. Can you do tvOS and tell us what's new? tvOS, I did want to do it, but the problem is right now it's not installing. So I did actually check to see if I could install it, but I'm kind of I'm kind of in two thoughts as to do that, because previously when I did it, it did break a few apps, Infuse in particular. Let me just go through the previous messages. Wallpapers we've done, messages we've done. iPhone X, are you sure? Yeah, iPhone 10. It's basically been a spare phone for quite a while, so get rid of the messages now. Yeah, so this is your new control center, which, to be honest, looks exactly the same. The biggest difference, I think, is going to be the fact that your focus modes are going to kind of be incorporated into your wallpapers now. So, for example, when you set up this particular one and you go to customize, I think there should be, maybe not right now, but there should eventually be an option where it's going to give you the option to actually enable. I think it may be just because that one was an actual built-in one, weather. Whereas if you create your own, and let's just choose this one, for example, and then we click the three dots. No, not that one, but they did kind of indicate that you will be able to set it up in such a way where you can set a focus mode for this particular sort of lock screen and unlock setup, and depending on which one you choose, when you then unlock it, it will then give you a different home screen each time. So once again, as I said, because I don't use this phone, there aren't any focus modes set up on it, but if you did have focus mode set up, then you'd be able to demonstrate that. Obviously, any of you guys out there that have actually used focus modes, you'll be able to kind of testify to the fact that, yeah, it does do something completely different. So personal, yeah, it'll take too long to actually choose all this. In fact, they have actually changed this bit slightly, because it's now giving you the option so you can actually choose it from here. So let's say, where's the weather one gone? So if we choose this one, and we'll just choose one page and add that. So now if we go to this one and we unlock, see, it gives us a completely different sort of home page. So this is prioritizing just these particular focus apps. So if we then lock it again and I switch back to this one, it crashes. Yeah, this is the point I was trying to make to you guys, that when you run a beta version, it's going to have bugs, things like that. Right now, this phone is really, really hot, by the way. So that's just the kind of thing that you're going to have to expect. So yeah, that is the one that I wanted. So I unlock on this. As you can see, just cancel that. I should have shared that actually. But yeah, as you can see, so right now there's 2 pages. And previously I would have had to select a focus mode for this. So this way around, I can just click on this and unlock it, and it goes to a single page. And obviously, depending on how you set the phone up, it will then only show the apps that you want to show. It'll only allow the notifications that you want to allow. It's just a way that you can actually customize it and make it a bit more useful to your basically your work and play life, if you like. Try and separate everything out. I do like the fact that they did actually have in this section here, you can actually customize it here under the actual focus mode. So if you go into sleep mode and customize this, I'm guessing that you'll probably be able to choose different wallpaper, different apps, all the rest of it, different notifications. Same thing you've always been able to do with focus mode, but now you've just got the added functionality of being able to do it with your lock screen as well. I think the lock screen will add quite a lot to it, and I'm guessing that right now there's going to be a few hidden features in there that obviously people will probably figure out by reading the code. But there's been rumors about an always on display, and this information here is kind of like the Apple Watch. So if we just watch the Apple Watch when it goes to sleep, if it'll go to sleep, there we go. So as you can see, most of that information is still on there. The only difference is when I turn my wrist, it just brightens up. Now, the difference with this is the fact that this is all one color. So they haven't actually done the Apple Watch version where you can actually choose what colors each of those kind of complications have. On this, any of your complications are basically the color that you've chosen for your theme. And I don't see any reason why when this goes to sleep, all of those complications can't just stay on in an always on display. The iPhone 14 Pro Max as well as the Pro are rumored to have a 1 to 120 hertz display this year. Last year's, the 13 Pro Max, the one I'm making this video on, this only has a 10 to 120 hertz. So because of that, they didn't want to actually add in the always on display because it would have meant that it's still using a little bit more battery because it can only drop down to 10 hertz. Whereas the reason the watch does it is because the watch drops down to 1 hertz. So in theory, everything is set up like this. This would be just about enough information as you need to actually pop up and show what you want. Obviously, you can customize your complications. You can set what you want set on there, and then as long as that's always there, it kind of does the same thing as the Apple Watch. For me, the Apple Watch made a massive difference to my sort of daily routine because it gives you so much information at a glance. And that's where the iPhone always obviously gave you time, date, but then for everything else, you had to unlock. And that's where this kind of brings all that information. So for those of you out there that don't have the Apple Watch, I think this adds a lot of functionality to the phone itself. Not necessarily for me personally, because I think the Apple Watch itself will still probably be priority for me. But there are a lot of instances like when I'm in here, whenever watching a movie now, when I'll actually take the watch off and I'll put it to a side. I won't actually have it on because I don't want any notifications. But having this just sat on the side there where I can just quickly access it, that'll actually be quite good. All right, what other messages have come through? Is it worth downloading or wait? I would say wait. Unless you've got a spare device, don't risk putting this on your main device. I'll say that again. I'll keep saying that for as long as people listen. You don't want to be putting any beta version on your main daily driver, especially not a developer beta. Once the public beta's out, yeah, if you want to try it, go ahead. But I wouldn't recommend installing this developer beta because this, as you saw right earlier on, so it's got bugs in it that are going to make the phone crash, and obviously everybody's going to want to go through this and install as many of these as they possibly can. Let me just hit done on that, and then we'll create another one, and I'm sure just installing this menu will probably end up causing it to crash. So hit OK, and you can see there's a little bit of lag there. This has created something completely different. So this one looks like it opens up. No, maybe that was the same thing. It was maybe it was just a bug where it opened up to the widgets pane rather than the home screen. But yeah, right now I would not recommend. Notification center on there still appears to be pretty much the same. Control center, once again, looks like it's pretty much the same. As I said, once I get this logged in, I think it might be a better indication. Might actually just do a proper video on this tomorrow. Today I literally just wanted to have a quick play about with it. I don't think I've got any photos. Yeah, the only photo I've got is the actual screenshot. So this is the file size. So it was 4.8 gig. This is on an iPhone 10. I can't remember what memory size this was. I think this was 256. Yeah, 256 gig. So 4.5 gig out of the 256 gig iPhone 10. Obviously, for you guys out there, if you were installing it on anything that's actually got data on it, then that's going to make a bit of a difference. In terms of battery life, I wouldn't expect this to be the best. Most early betas generally are quite bad when it comes to fitness. Was something that they actually mentioned quite a bit as well, wasn't it? Where they were trying to bring a lot more of the sort of watch features. Yeah, that's fine. They were trying to bring a lot more of the watch features to the phone app. I don't think it's going to be as accurate. So for most of you guys out there, if you're really serious about fitness, then I can't recommend the watch highly enough. It does make a big difference, even for somebody lazy like me, where it can actually motivate you because you see the rings and especially first when you get it, it does motivate you. There are a lot of other useful things like sleep tracking, things like that. I ended up not using them simply because I actually started to find it uncomfortable sleeping with the watch on. That's just because of the way I sleep. But yeah, if you're serious about fitness, then I would probably suggest actually investing in an Apple Watch. Shortcuts, any difference to this? Go to create a new one. I think this is pretty much same as what it was. Let's just see if it gives us any further actions. No, I don't think it has. I think a deeper dive into some of these will actually make a difference. Let's take a look at the weather app. If it works. Doesn't seem to want to work. No, doesn't look like the weather app is actually working. So, what else have we got? Camera app. Any new camera features? They did mention obviously the shared libraries. Now the shared libraries isn't something that I'm really going to use because generally I don't actually keep my photos on my phone. Generally what I tend to do is I back everything up to a NAS drive, just to keep my phone as clutter free as possible, and then it also gives me the ability to actually use ProRes video whenever I need to without having to worry about any sort of running out of memory or anything like that. Swipe up. Doesn't seem to have any new features in here. Portrait, square, yeah, these are all still the same. Video, still no options to actually change resolution in the camera app for anything other than the newest phones. So camera app looks pretty much identical. Notes app, have they made any changes to that? Not now. Yeah, it still looks the same. Now, one thing that they did mention was quick notes. So on everything else, it's a swipe up from the bottom, but I'm not sure how you actually do quick notes on the iPhone. Unlock on this still works in exactly the same way. Right. Flashlight seems very temperamental. Like that button isn't the best. I must admit, I am liking the different sort of looks that you can actually get from the actual fonting. What else have we got here? So spotlight search on the lock screen still seems strange to me. Like that seems such a strange thing to actually have access to. I know I don't have Face ID or passcode or anything on this particular device, but it's always seemed strange to me. It just seemed like a bug when iOS 15 came out that you could actually access Spotlight on the lock screen. The amount of lock screen bypasses that people actually found using Spotlight, and now they actually allow it straight up. Anything else? I don't think there's going to be much else that I can actually wallet. Let's have a look at the wallet app. So in terms of adding new stuff, yeah, it requires sign in. So yeah, it's not going to let me do much on that. Yeah, that's probably about it that I can actually have a look at. If you've got any questions, now's the time to ask. Otherwise, I may just have a quick play about with tvOS16, but obviously with this now being the cinema room, I don't really want to be ruining the tvOS experience in here. And if I installed it in the other room, I think my kid would kill me if she can't watch her cartoons in the morning. So I'll have a think about it. If I can find a spare Apple TV somewhere, I'll try and get it installed on that and give you guys a quick glimpse of tvOS 16. However, the fact that they didn't actually showcase anything in the event, I'm not expecting there to be much. I think it'll literally be maybe a few changes to the actual control center. I'm guessing maybe they might change something here, but the fact that they didn't even bring it up doesn't bode well. I know a lot of times they do hide a lot of features, and obviously they don't reveal them to way down the line. Sometimes until the new devices actually come out, in particular the iPhones. But it's not encouraging the fact that they didn't actually even mention tvOS in it. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it for the sort of first look at iOS 16. To be honest, I think what's new about iOS 16? There is a lot. For most of it, you need to actually be logged in, and that's the problem. This particular iPhone that I'm actually testing it on is just a test device. So the only thing I use this for is basically like secondary shots and basically installing beta software. So first thing I need to do is actually get logged in, and then for me the main thing is HomeKit. I just everything revolves around HomeKit changes, things like that. As you can see, I've got lighting set up everywhere, and a lot of that revolves around HomeKit and just being able to set up themes and scenes and stuff. Looking forward to tvOS 16. To be honest, I'm not expecting a lot of changes, simply because obviously this is a lot of cosmetical changes. So in iOS 16, a lot of this kind of stuff is I think it's a preamble to the iPhone 14, and a lot of these features would make sense, like this new lock screen. If I try not dropping the device, so if I just switch to one of the ones with the widgets, something like this would make a lot of sense for a device that's got always on display, because you can display this information all the time, and even when the screen goes to sleep, you can just keep that information because it doesn't need to be in color. It can just be black and white. So even with iOS 16, there's always that buzz when you first get it installed that you've got something new. Seems not update some new features. So, to be honest, some of the features might not even be on this particular device, because obviously it's quite an old device. 8 was on the website, didn't mention anything new than 8. This came out the same year as the 8, I think it was. So potentially this is the last year that this particular phone does actually get the update. So there may be a lot of features that are out there but just won't work on this particular device yet. But yeah, I think the main buzz is going to be around these new lock screens. There are a lot of other things that were mentioned that obviously people will eventually kind of bring into their setup, and the focus modes I think is going to be a big thing as well. The fact that you can unlock it and have a different locks sort of homepage every single time. Try locking it without activating Siri. So yeah, so the fact that you can literally just do that and unlock it, and you've got a different home screen every single time, I think that will probably mean the take up on focus modes is going to be higher. I'm not sure how many people out there actually use focus modes. I did use it when I was at work, just so then I could only have the apps that I used to use regularly. But I know most of my friends and family, they didn't use focus modes. A lot of them didn't even know what it was. Like watchOS about lock screen. Yeah, it's taking cues from watchOS with the complication style. Let's just go back into the customization so you guys can see, for anybody that wasn't there at the start. So if you just delete these off one by one, yeah, there you go. There's a few of the bugs. So even when you click, it doesn't disappear. But yeah, so it gives you like these widgets that are here, and obviously if you've got third-party apps installed, then it's probably going to give you additional just make sure it's not prayer time. About 5 minutes I've got. Yeah, it's going to give you more options the more apps that you actually have installed. So potentially for me, obviously I'm for my prayers, obviously I've got complications that I've got installed on my watch, so potentially I could actually have that on the lock screen itself, which saves me a lot of time being able to just see it straight on my lock screen, rather than having to either glance at the watch or unlock the phone and go to maybe the second page, because generally I didn't like to have those complications on the first page of the home screen. The way I always had it was when I just try and get back into this. So the way I had it was I had a single big widget with the batteries, because I like to keep an eye on the battery life for the watch, the phone, as well as AirPods or anything that I had connected as well. So for me, obviously that's something that even feature wise, it will make a difference if it works the way I'm hoping, with the ability to actually add third-party widgets. Now, a lot of those third parties are going to have to develop those complications. I know they've developed app kits for it, but even still, it's something that it won't get done whilst these betas are out. That's one thing most people need to actually understand. The fact that whilst these betas are running, virtually no third-party apps or anything are going to be fully up and running. So you're not going to get the full benefits of these until the at least the public betas start rolling out. Once the public betas start rolling out, that's when third parties are actually pushing their updates out there, and you might actually get some benefit to it. But initially, it's literally just going to be the sort of just the buzz of having something new. Let's take a look at one of these. So I know they did show one. Yeah, so you can make changes to how many fishes you you have on there. Let's cancel out this one. What else have we got? So you've got colors, you've got your collections. Next one up is your emojis. So you've got quite a few different emojis there. Above that is your weather one. The weather one is quite cool, but I don't know how useful it's going to be, bearing in mind that most people are probably going to have a lot of the complications on there anyway. And then you've got your featured collections, and then I suppose you could always create your own as well. So obviously you can create your own, so you got like photos and everything. So let's just use this. So that's the only photo I've actually got taken on here. It's loading. As you can see, this is the thing. So it's just a simple photo, but look how long it actually takes to load. Now, so this is where you can actually, so that's the actual photo in the background itself. Then you go to black and white. They're the only two options it's got available at the moment. I'm sure during the keynote they did actually show a lot more in terms of different different sort of what do you call it, filters that you can apply to it. Let me try and scroll this, because they did, yeah, so you can pinch to zoom and move the image around a bit. It's very difficult to do this whilst I'm holding the phone. It doesn't want to work with that hand, but yeah, you've got this is going to be the main thing. It's going to be the new wallpapers, it's going to be the new lock screen, it's going to be the focus modes that are tied into that. So those three things, and obviously you've got your different fonts and everything for your lock screen as well. So you can come in here and you can change the font. So if I show you there, so you got these 6 at the moment, and then let's just see what happens when we change it to Arabic. So yeah, it's literally just numbers. This is just with the different keyboards that I've actually got installed. I don't know what that is. I've not installed that, so I don't know what language that is. But yeah, so even though it says Arabic, there it is actually English. So yeah, you have got different options for the actual fonts itself, and then you can change the colors of just the font itself. Scroll across, so you got more pastel type colors. What does that one do? I think that one just this first one I think just copies whatever background you've got. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of playing about with this lock screen portion of it. And I think a lot of features just won't be enabled yet. So there's going to be a lot of things that are either reliant upon logging in, and there's going to be a lot of things that are reliant upon certain hardware, so newer phones, and then there's going to be certain things that just aren't available yet. Anyway, so it is now prayer time, so I must end this live stream. If you guys have any more questions or anything, follow me on the channel, and you can just drop me a comment on any of my videos and I'll try and answer it. Or you can follow me over on Twitter as well. Links will be in the description of all my videos. So until the next one, thanks very much for watching.